Greetings, video friends. This is Billy Cultist, and I am here with a No Man's Sky video today. And I'm gonna basically be, talking about wrapping up the build of the Molaria base upon which I have been, if you've been watching this series, working for quite some time now. And, basically, that's what I'm going to be discussing today. I think what we'll do is I'm going to take a little final tour of the base and discuss why I'm wrapping it up right now, and talk about some other things. Also, basically, I will be giving you 4 planet coordinates. So if you play No Man's Sky, you can go to them, and I will be giving you the addresses to them later in the video, so stick around for that, I guess, or skip to that part if you just want to get right to that. But anyway, we will begin our little tour and discussion of my termination of the construction of Molaria Base. So, basically now I'm in the control center residence that I built for the mine. There's the mine, of course. I'm going to now talk about, though, why I am shutting down on the construction. And there's 2 main reasons why also this video is kind of weird. Now first I want to address, though, in the last video I said we were going to build a what was it? Water processing center, and we had a poll over that and where it should be built. And I believe the final decision, according to democracy, was the lake. And you'll be glad to know that I abided by that decision, because I did in fact go and record myself building a water processing facility down on the lake, and you can actually see it right now from up here. We get a good view from the hangar atop the mining spire of the water processing facility. And don't worry, we will get to take a closer look at it as we tour, but I did make an entire video about that. And you might be wondering, well, Billy, why was that video? Why am I not seeing that now? Instead of you touring the base and closing things down. And basically, the problem is the video got corrupted. So, and I was stuck in a position where I have to tear it all down to rebuild it, which I guess I could have done. But there was another issue that cropped up during the building of the water processing facility, which I am now walking towards. And there's the old... We'll turn aside and go up to the old power station. One last look up at that. But basically, what happened was I hit the base uploadable limit. I finally hit it, and it's a lot smaller than what I had thought. So, Molaria is too big now to be uploaded, and I'm not going to be able to realize all the original, intentions I had for the base and keep it uploadable. And you might say, well, that's not absolutely necessary, and it's kind of true. I mean, I could still build it on it, but I can't upload it, and nobody can see it in the No Man's Sky, community or whatever, or travel here, because it's not uploadable. And the upload limit, in case you're interested, apparently is 3,000 parts. So, surprisingly small. I thought it was at least around 30,000, but I guess I was wrong. And that really threw a real, monkey wrench into my gears. And so really what I've decided to do is I've decided to terminate construction on Molaria right now. And, you know, I think what's gonna happen is, maybe in the future, you know, don't know how soon or late that would be, but I will probably try another base build. But I'm gonna have a better idea of, you know, keeping the limit, keeping within the upload limit, so that we can actually build a base that's cool and functional, but also will be uploadable to the No Man's Sky servers, because I really would like it to be uploadable. And it is going to kind of cut into the grandeur of future bases. You know, the scale limitation or whatever, but I think it can be accomplished, and that will be, I guess, the new challenge going forward in future stuff. But yeah, basically that's what happened, and that's why I've decided to cut it right here on this base. We did get quite a ways, and we do have quite a fun, neat-looking base, I think. But it's a real shame that it got cut off in its prime, and I can't really go any further and still be uploadable. But anyway, we will go down to the lake and tour the water processing facility, which, as you can see, I did construct. I did spend quite a lot of time constructing it. And it is on the lake, as per the pole that we put up. Actually, I like the way it looks. It's quite nice. Just, you know, that's when I hit the limit, and I was like, oh no. We can't look at that. Isn't that nice? It's the water process. We will go inside, too. There is an interior, albeit a small interior, but we will go inside. It is a real shame, though, that the uploadable limit is so small. I did not imagine it to be so small. I had thought, like I said, that it was quite a bit more than just 3,000 parts, but apparently that's it. So, yeah, bases are going to have to be a lot more conservative if they want to be uploaded. I'm a little bit confused by it, too, because I feel like I've seen people's bases that were on the servers that were quite a bit more expansive than this and complex than what I've got now. We'll just go in here in the main hall down to the central chamber of the water processing facility. But yeah, it is a little confusing to me. So as you can see inside, it's not a huge chamber, but we have, this is where the water, I suppose, from the lake is processed through all of these pipes and things. It goes out to be distributed to all facilities requiring water. And just in case, you know, you don't know, No Man's Sky does not actually feature any functionality for, like, water processing and distribution in bases or anything. It would be really neat if it did, but right now it does not. This is all just kind of RP set dressing stuff. This whole facility is not actually necessary for function, you know, like that. But I've got this kind of pool area down here that's actually under the water, so you can see. Oh, it looks nice. Looks neat. But yeah, I put in, you know, the work on it, and we do have it. So all you people who did vote on it, placing the facility in the lake, this is it. And I'm sorry that I wasn't able to show the building of it. But this is what we got. And I'm pretty satisfied with it in terms of how it turned out. But anyway, yeah, that's basically it for Molaria. Kind of sad, and probably not to most people. I doubt you care that much, but yeah, a little bit of bitter sadness there because I can no longer work on it. But we must look to the future and not look back, friends. We must look forward instead. Because, you know, there's still bright horizons in No Man's Sky. We could build more bases, basically, later. And try to make those bases fit within the limit. I think that's, like I said, the new challenge. Try to make cool bases that fit within that goofy little limit. But that's gonna do it for our tour of Molaria. One last look at the facilities that we constructed. And now, as sort of a, you know, consolation prize, I guess, if you're feeling real beat up about it, I'm gonna give you 4 really good Earth-like planets that I found, and kind of go over, you know, the pros and cons of those planets, and give you basically the addresses to reach those planets if you play No Man's Sky and you have access to an alien portal or a way to input the glyphs that I'll give you. Okay, video friends, so here is the first in line of my Bon Voyage Farewell to Molaria celebration pack of planets that you could travel to, you know, explore and build bases on. As you can see, we got a pretty nice Earth-like here. The colors are really what does it here, and that's kind of going to be the case with all of them. But as you can see, green grass. We got these kind of jungle trees. There's a little bit of a bluish tint to some of the, you know, the forest foliage, but it's not really bad in a, you know, way that would make this planet look too alien. And we've got a nice kind of teal blue water. I'm gonna dive under the water so you can see that underneath it is a bluish teal tint. Not just the sky reflecting on it, but it is actually a nice color. And the sky, of course, is a nice kind of near blue. Not entirely like a real Earth blue, but it's close enough to give this planet a nice, you know, that green human look that we kind of like to go for, being from Earth or whatever. Something familiar. As far as the animals are concerned, I don't know. That's a thing. Relatively speaking, the topography is pretty good. One of the downsides, though, to this planet is, I'm sorry to say, if you're a person that's bothered by them, it does have occasional floaters. And that's like, kind of like those things, except in this case, the one I'm looking at actually is connected to the ground, making it kind of okay. But sometimes you'll find ones that are just floating freely in midair. And that might not bother you, but I kind of consider that a downside. I really don't like those things. But, all in all, the trade-off, though, is not too bad. You could find places where they're not really visible, and when you got such a nice-looking planet, you know, you can kind of sweep it under the rug that it has those topographical, you know, nitpicks. But basically, it's pretty nice. Another thing that I'm going to talk about is the weather. Now, every time I've been on this planet, it's been pretty peaceful, but I do believe it is not, in fact, a true paradise, and does feature storms occasionally. Though, I think they must be somewhat infrequent, because like I said, all the times I've been here, I haven't really experienced them. So they might not be too bad as to, you know, be a real hassle if you're one of those people that's really afraid of stormy planets. But again, the trade-off's kind of nice, because it's still, this planet just looks great, you know what I'm saying? Storms or no storms, but whatever. That's the first on our list. Pretty nice, fantastic planet. Alright, video friends, and so here we have our second pretty nice, pretty great, as you can see, Earth-like planet on the list. You might even think we're still on that same planet, Billy, but we're not, actually. This is a totally different planet. And if you're a careful observer, you could see that the colors and the things and the foliage and all that stuff is slightly different from the last planet. The topography is kind of the same, and I'm gonna have to say again, we kind of have the floater problem here too, like the last one, but you can find places where you could be without if you're really bothered by it. The sun is setting now, quite nice. I'm gonna take a dive. The water really is blue. It's a little harder to see that at sunset, but the water really is blue here. Or of kind of a bluish tint. I can't remember quite if it's like teal or whatever, but this planet, like the last one, pretty nice. You got the colors pretty much line up. I will say that the sky has kind of a funny filter on it, which is a little bit odd, but it's still kind of in the vicinity of like a bluish teal color. It doesn't take it too far out of bounds when comparing it to, you know, Earth-like sensibilities or what have you. Oh, that's a wild bug. And as far as the animals here, I don't know. Some of it's weird and goofy. Make of it whatever you will. But overall, another pretty solid Earth-like with really nice color alignment and pretty good everything else, you know, like trees and stuff. Another thing I'll note about that, while on the subject of trees, is that we got these kind of deciduous looking trees with these deciduous looking leaves, you know, on this planet. And that's kind of cool because I don't often find a nice planet that has those type of trees. So that is definitely a selling point. But yeah, that is our second pretty good, fantastical Earth-like on the list. Alright, now to our third planet, video friends. This is the third in the list, and as you can see by the color scheme, it has the nice greenery that we've come to expect so far. We've got a kind of tealish sky, we've got kind of tealish water, and generally nice green plants and grass and foliage all around. Take a dive into the water, which is, as you can see, a nice kind of teal color. But basically, pretty solid Earth-like all around. The topography, again, is pretty solid, although, as has been the case thus far, there's some areas where this planet exhibits a problem with floaters. But, like it's been so far, you can kind of, you know, go find places where they're not really a big issue. At least you won't see any, so that's nice. You may have noticed that it is raining quite heavily, and that is one of the probably biggest possible downsides to this planet. It is actually an Earth-like hazard planet. It has activated copper, and it has frequent and intense rainstorms. Which, you know, you may really not like that, as I know a lot of people who play No Man's Sky are just so averse to storms. I find it kind of interesting, especially because it's an Earth-like. It's kind of like a, you know, really rainy jungle planet, which in a way I find kind of cool, but you know, you really might not like that, so be forewarned. This is actually a hazard planet, and the storms are quite frequent and intense here. So if you really don't like stormy planets like that, then probably the Earth-like color scheme and that kind of cool aspect is not going to help much. But if you're not bothered by that, this is a pretty cool planet, because you do got all that wonderful color alignment. But anyway, that's the third Earth-like that I have to share. Alright, video friends, Earth-like planet number 4. Here we go, and this will top off the list. of Earth-like planets I have to present to you. You know, in celebration of closing down the Molaria base. As you can see, again, we got this nice kind of green, blue going on everywhere. Now this planet is noticeably barren of trees, instead featuring these kind of large boulders scattered here and there. But it creates kind of a neat effect, I think. Especially if you're one of those people that likes a more wide open feeling. You still got this good green grass, got kind of a green haze going on, and the water, as you can see, is a nice kind of a teal color. You know, not entirely like earth blue or whatever, but you know, it gets the job done. Looks nice, looks close to something you might find on Earth. Topography, it's a little bit, strong in this area, but not too bad. Unfortunately, as has been a running theme with all these planets, there are occasional floaters, like the one you can see right there. But again, like with all the previous planets, it is possible to find floater-free areas on this planet if you want. So it's not too bad of a thing. Now, as far as the weather is concerned, it is not a hazard planet, but I do not believe it is actually a true paradise. Actually, now looking at the data, it says the weather is blissful, so this actually might in fact be a true paradise, and we've got a squid right there, kind of freaking out. Oh, it's like a nautilus. I mean, that's cool, but it's also weird because it's kind of glitching out of the water there, but basically, I guess this is a true paradise. So I saved the best for last, didn't I? True paradise, no storms, green. All in all, pretty solid, and I hope you come and enjoy it. To all of you people watching, or of a more careful class, I have a confession to make. I lied when I said there was only 4 planets I was going to show you in this video. This is the secret 5th Earth-like, and your reward, careful viewer, for having made it here and found out this was here. It's probably the cream of the crop, as you could see. The sky here is real blue. The water is blue. The topology is great. It's fantastic. It's just, this planet is probably going to take the crown now as the top Earth-like I have found so far while playing No Man's Sky. Because, yeah, the color just lines up even better than some of the previous ones that I've already showed. It's got nice trees, it's got nice topography, there's occasional, you know, mountains kind of like that. There's no floater problem here. Now there are occasional storms. It is not a true paradise, but the storms seem to be infrequent and short-lived. Not a huge problem, you know. Don't be afraid of them. Everything this planet has to offer far outweighs the storms by a long shot. So, you know, if you made it to this part of the video and you found out this was in here, I completely congratulate you. And also, yeah, come to this planet if you play No Man's Sky and make yourself at home. It is a fantastic Earth-like, and I don't really know how I'm going to top it. I guess that's completely possible that I could. Maybe if I find one like this that has deciduous trees, that would be a really rare thing for me that I haven't found yet. But So far, this is just the peak of Earth-like planets for me in No Man's Sky. But I am sorry, as can be, that we didn't get to fully develop the malaria base as much as I had originally hoped. But as I said, there will probably be some kind of future projects in No Man's Sky by me, which I will document, and I'll try to do better next time and keep things within the limits while still making them interesting and cool and having some fun building some neat stuff. But until next time, I hope you enjoyed. If you're new to the channel, throw a like and subscribe. Even if you're not new to the channel, throw a like. But basically, that helps a lot. And I hope that you will have a fine rest of your day or night, as the case may be. This has been Billy Cultist. Bye-bye for now.